Good day everyone. So for today we are going to discuss how to factor a perfect square trinomial. When is a trinomial a perfect square? We can say that a trinomial is a perfect square if the first term and the last term are both perfect square terms, and the middle term is double the product of the square roots of the first and the last terms of the given trinomial. Is x squared plus 6x plus 9 a perfect square trinomial? So the first term is x squared. Taking the square root of x squared, that will give us x. For the last term, which is 9, taking the square root of 9, that will give us 3. And for the middle term, if we are going to multiply x by 3, that will give us 3x. Then multiplying 3x by 2, because we have to double the product of the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term, that will give us 6x. Therefore, we can now say that x squared plus 6x plus 9 is a perfect square trinomial. So x squared plus 6x plus 9 is a perfect square trinomial. Now let us proceed to activity 1. Am I perfect? Draw a star if the given is a perfect square trinomial and an X mark if it is not. For number 1, x squared plus 10x plus 25. Is it a perfect square trinomial or not? Very good. X squared plus 10x plus 25 is a perfect square trinomial. Next, number 2, x squared minus 12x plus 36. Is it a perfect square trinomial or not? So we have here another perfect square trinomial. Number 3, x squared plus 20x plus 64. A perfect square trinomial or not? Oh, number 3 is not a perfect square trinomial. Why do you think that it is not a perfect square trinomial? Let us see. If we are going to take the square root of x squared, that will give us x. Then taking the square root of 64, that will give us 8. Next, try to multiply x by 8, and that will give us 8x. So 8x double, that will give us 16x. So we are expecting 16x as our middle term, but based on the given, the middle term is 20x. Therefore, x squared plus 20x plus 64 is not a perfect square trinomial. Next, we have number 4, 4x squared minus 28x plus 49. Is it a perfect square trinomial or not? So number 4 is a perfect square trinomial. Last one, number 5, 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. Is it a perfect square trinomial or not? Again, number 5 is not a perfect square trinomial. What do you think is the reason? So right, it's because the first term, which is 2x squared, and the last term, which is 6, are not perfect square terms. Therefore, 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 is not a perfect square trinomial. Since we are now equipped with the basic knowledge of perfect square trinomial, we can now easily factor a perfect square trinomial. As what have been said earlier, x squared plus 10x plus 25 is a perfect square trinomial. So if you are going to factor this one, you just need to take the square root of the first term, which is x squared, and that will give us x, and x will be the first term of our binomial factor. Next, the square root of 25, and that will give us 5. So 5 will be the second term of our binomial factors. Next, what do you think is the operation in between x and 5? So in case of this one, you just need to take the sign or take into consideration the sign of the middle term, which is 10x. Since 10x is positive, therefore, it only means that the operation in between x and 5 is addition. So we have here quantity x plus 5 multiplied by another quantity x plus 5. What have you noticed when it comes to our binomial factor? Correct. We have here the same or equal binomial factor. Therefore, we can express this as quantity x plus 5. How many times we may use x plus 5 as our factor? 2 times. So we have to raise quantity x plus 5 to the second power, thus giving us our factor for x squared plus 10x plus 25, which is quantity x plus 5 multiplied by quantity x plus 5, or simply quantity x plus 5 raised to the second power. Next example, we have here factor x squared minus 12x plus 36. Again, take the square root of x squared and that will give us x. So we have here now our first term of the binomial factor, which is x. Then taking the square root of 36, that will be 6. So 6 will be the second term of our binomial factor. Next, what is the operation in between x and 6? Again, you need to consider our middle term. So since the middle term is negative 12x, so it indicates that the sign in between x and 6 is subtraction. So again, we have here now quantity x minus 6 multiplied by quantity x minus 6, or we can express this as quantity x minus 6 raised to the second power. Then, next example, we have here factor for x squared minus 28x plus 49. Again, take the square root of 4x squared and that will give us 2x. Then, 2x will be the first term of our binomial factor. Next, get the square root of 49 and that is 7. 7 will be the second term of our binomial factor. Next, the operation in between 2x and 7. Again, consider the of the middle term, which is negative 28x. So since the middle term is negative, the operation in between 2x and 7 is subtraction. Then, finally, we express this as quantity 2x minus 7 raised to the second power.